Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. So welcome all of you to this days for the feet, the ankles chakra, in the week of the physical aspect of the Sagittarius month. And tomorrow is our last day of Sagittarius. So yes, we finished the month of Sagittarius according to the Atlantean calendar, but also tomorrow is the last day of 2020. So 2020 is over tomorrow, but its energy is not finished. So we are following the Atlantean calendar, so we are right now in the middle of the year. The Atlantean calendar says, according to the star of Sirius, that the year finished and begins in July. Finishes in July, starts in August. So we are right now in the middle. So tomorrow is the last day according to the Gregorian calendar. Okay, so Gregorian calendar ends tomorrow for 2020. So of course that for tomorrow I would be connected at 2020 as always, Egyptian time. So I will be here doing the alignment as always. But of course that many of you will be celebrating already, but most of all the people that are right now from India, going to China, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and Indonesia, and all those countries, that will be already in 2021 tomorrow when I connect. So I hope, well, I will say now, I would say a happy New Year to all of you who tomorrow will be already in 2021. So tomorrow will be really weird for me. This is the first New Year ever on being alone. So it's the first time. I always used to celebrate the New Year with everyone, family, friends, and so on. But this year I will be here alone by myself. And of course, beginning the celebration with all of you doing the alignment, and of course with some friends online. But will be weird, but new experience to begin this 2021. So just to before we start with today information, I don't want to speak about this tomorrow because we're going to be like much more happy maybe. So just to remind you that tomorrow ends Sagittarius, and of course in January 1st we begin with the new month, which will be my rising sign at last. So you know what it is. The new month begins, Capricorn. So I just want to say that you have to be prepared, because from the very first day of the year, we are gonna work with the structures, the basements of everything, so the house doesn't fall down. So we have to work. That's Capricorn style. We will begin this year working. Okay, so be prepared. Sorry for all the water, air, and fire signs. Sorry, but we begin with this hard month. So let's see what this month makes us do. But somehow this month this month has to begin. I will try to make it more soft as I can this new month, but it doesn't depend on me. It's not on me, this, because of course I am the face of this, but the ones that are working with this, they know what to do. So I won't know until the day comes. So who knows? Just in case, I will tell you this. Have some paper, some pencils or something to write down, because this is Capricorn and it's all about work. So this is like kind of the joke of 2020, that that we said, oh yes, we end this year at last, we leave this heavy year behind, and suddenly the first month of 2021 is Capricorn. So it's like working with the Saturn energy and the hard work and all the karma coming back again and showing us if we are able to face all the things that we have worked before. So I love that. I love the Capricorn energy. So that's why I'm happy. So for sure, this January can be very, very heavy for some people. So anyway, so in order to be able to begin with this big Earth in January, so let's finish it with this great ocean of water for today. So the feet are they are related to the path, the way, but it's not about the wave where you move. It's about the path that you incorporate in yourself. So it's about every step you give is registered, recorded within your own body. So this is related to the purpose, the mission, the places where you go, the destinies that you choose. So it's all related to all the steps that you give in your way, in your path. So the knees, yesterday, they are related to the history, the memories of all our ancestors, and the feet is related to the steps that we ourselves have given and storage for ourselves in our path. Okay. So this is why the feet are related to the life as what we experience, what we have created for ourselves, and is what we register in ourselves. Life, basically, everything that we are. When we speak about life on the feet, is because we live a process of evolution and we walk through that process of evolution, going ahead, moving forward. But what is life from the point of view of mind? Life would be like this concept that that holds all the ideas of everything that has energy and so on, that everything is a continuous and so on. But when we go into the physical aspect, life is related to not only the movement and the transformation, but also with the element that allows life to exist, which is these individuals separated from one another, exchanging information. And that's why life is related to water. Basically, water is life. We usually say that life is not possible without water. We need water in order to have life, But that's not really like that. What really happened is that water is life. Life doesn't need water. Water is the life. When we say life is water, we have also to remember that from the point of view of the universe, everything that vibrates is life. Okay, so we have organic and inorganic beings, like inorganic, for example, is like a stone, like the mineral kingdom. They also have life because they vibrate. So if there is vibration, there is life. But we have another way of life, which is the organic. And the organic means that it can transform and interact one another to create new compositions, new structures, and so on constantly. It's moving, flowing constantly. So that's why it's organic. Okay, and those organisms are the ones that we used to call living beings because they move. If we think about this, what we call organic and inorganic, they are not different things. They are the same thing, because we, living beings, we are made up with minerals. We are alive because we have within carbon, magnesium, calcium, iron, silicon, hydrogen, oxygen. We have so many, phosphor. We have so many minerals inside that we usually find it in stones, in rocks, in mountains, but we have it organized in a different way, which is flexible. They are moving, they interact in a different way because of water. Water is the one that helps these inorganic structures to become organic. That means that they can move, they can flow, they can transform the shapes, they can adapt to the environment. So because of the water, which is this flexible element that can transform itself in different 3 states, it helps the minerals to interact in between each other in different ways. So life is basically the interaction of the minerals, which are inorganic. So we can understand that that life is basically inorganic minerals, inorganic elements that are structured in an organic way. That's how we could understand life. So basically, water is the element, the mineral element, that helps the inorganic to structure themselves, to organize themselves in living organisms. The reason why it happened here on Earth, why the inorganic started to become organized in organic, is because the heat of the volcanoes under the water. The submarine volcanoes, they create a lot of heat, and this when you don't have water, this heat is just going away because the lava kills everything around, melts everything. But when you have water, the water starts to heat up, so it allows the minerals to interact and not to melt, not to be discomposed. So the water allows for these organisms, these minerals, to interact, as we spoke in some videos, in some previous videos, to earn and to save energy. Okay, so being in the water, it helps that this energy to be storage, and that's why they create this membrane of sugars and salties salts, it starts to create this membrane that we call a cell. These elements are the ones that start to be organized in some way to create a unicellular organism. So this cell is the one that starts to divide itself in many other cells, so it creates multicellular organisms, pluricellular organisms, as we are. So this wouldn't be possible without the water, which allowed to create these unicellular organisms. So when water arrived to this planet, was the last key to help this world to use the minerals from this world in order to create life, because water is the key of life, because basically water is the life. Remember, water is not from this planet. Water is an extraterrestrial being. So water basically is not an element from the earth. Water is an extraterrestrial element. Is from outside this planet. Is an extraterrestrial being. Water is one of the most difficult elements to be created because it's impossible to replicate water. Water is always the same, and it's all over the universe exactly the same. It's water. Because you need so much energy to create the fusion to make the molecules of water that it could have been only created at the very beginning of everything. So the creation of water is one of the most wow the most incredible things of the universe. And water is always water. You cannot change it in another thing. It's always water. Sometimes it's ice in solid shape, sometimes it's liquid, sometimes it's gas, but it's all over the universe being water. On the rings of Saturn, on some other moons as ice and Jupiter, it's traveling all around galaxies through comets, asteroids. So it's everywhere. Water is everywhere. So water came to this world by comets that collapsed to our planet. So basically, the comets, the ice of the comets are kind of like the spermatozoids that penetrate in the ovulus of that we call planets. So all the beings that have life, that have water, we are 70% water. Every being that is water is an alien. But we also have minerals from this planet. So that's why we are also from the Earth. But the thing is that water has come to this planet so many millions of years ago that we can think that water was always here. So throughout the history, the water is the element that tries to adapt by vibration. According to the vibration that we have around, water starts to look for the shapes to adapt to the environment. So that's why we see, for example, the snowflakes that has these beautiful shapes, each one different from the other one. And we can say now that by the studies of Masaru Emoto, how the water is changing according to the vibration. So now imagine that the vibration is all around your existence, which is your environment. So everything that happens in your environment is going to change the shape of your water inside. So that's what we call evolution. Basically, what makes a tree appear, a human, a dog, every animal and everything exist in life is water adapting to the shapes according to the environment. So for example, if I have water in a bottle, it takes the shape of the water, it takes the shape of the bottle, and inside of me it takes the shape of a human. So water is adapting, and that's what we call evolution. Basically, evolution is how the water is adapting to the environment by vibration. Also, important thing, that if the water inside my body goes to the water inside another person, or goes inside a tree, or we share the water everywhere, water is always the same, but water has the memory. So the water remembers inside of it the structures where it used to be. So that's why water has memory, and everything is recorded in water. This is why through water we can awake information. Through the blood and the cells, you can talk about the potential of our ancestors. Through the rivers, we can talk with the information of the civilizations, and so on. We can speak with the water and bring the information of that water. This is why a water that is programmed inside a plant can create a medicine. A water that is programmed by voice, by intention, can also become medicine or a poison. Water contains information of all the things. If water has memory, what can we also access to? From where water came from? It came from the space. So we inside have the information of the cosmos, because the same water that we have inside is the same water that is in the rings of Saturn, that is all around in every planet and asteroid, etc. This is why water is the holy or the divine library. This is why in history, in the past, the ancient ones not only honored water because it gave life, but also because it was a way to communicate with other dimensions, with the cosmos, with other beings in other planets, with the divine, God, the goddess, with everyone. So this is why also in ancient cultures, they used the water to communicate with the divine by washing the hands before the prayers, the feet and the face, or also the baptism. All these kind of ceremonies with water is not because only the water was bringing life, but also because it was the way to communicate with the divine. So water has the information of the whole cosmos, and this means that every one of us has access to all the information of the cosmos, because we are part of the library. What makes you get inside one information or another is your state of vibration. Remember that the vibration of the water is the one that creates the patterns and activate the information. So this is why the vibration of the water makes sometimes the vibration of yourself makes the water awaken, for example, the potential of remembering, as I did. For others is the memory of how to make music. For others is how to understand numbers. Is depending on the level of the water. So water has conductivity, electricity. It allows the electricity to move faster from one spot to another. So that's why the nervous system is the one that can bring the information from one spot to another because of water. Water is the one allowing your mind to flow all over your body, because water is your mind. The only thing that happened is that the minerals have been organizing to process and to understand, decode the information of the water, so you can think, you can do whatever. So, for example, we can go now to the biblical story of Jesus washing the apostles' feet with water, and today we are in the day of the feet. And this is is a symbolism that represented a tradition of the how do you say it in English? Essenios. Essenian people. So these people used to get inside the water to meditate under the water. So they used the water to connect with the divine. Every day, the Essenian people, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, that people from Middle East, they okay. They used to get into the water to connect with the divine every day, doing the meditations inside the water. And that is a tradition that Jesus took to wash the feet of the apostles, because the symbolism of that was you have walked through the earth. Now you have to wash, to become connected to the path of the divine. So of course there are many stories about water in the past, and one of the of the symbologies, for example, of Jesus walking on the water is not because it's not because he walked literally on the water, but because it was a symbolism representing the concept of water being the divine, and everyone can go down in the water. So that you cannot float, you cannot you go into the depth of the creation, when you go into the water, because you don't know how to get out to see the whole. So the symbolism was he was able to walk over the water because basically he was the water, he was the divine. That's the symbolism. Our planet is 70% covered under the water. Even if it is not all water, it's covered 70% on water. So we call it the earth because we live on earth, we live in the ground. But because we are kind of selfish as humans, we should really call it the water. The planet would be the water, but that's just a perception. So we can consider the earth a very holy planet because it's covered under the water. Also, watching the earth with this water, for sure you have heard that we will have a lack of water, that we will have wars for water. Well, water cannot dry and disappear because there's no way for the water to escape the planet. And the same water that was from the very beginning of this world till now is exactly the same amount of water. Sometimes maybe the water get frozen in the poles, sometimes it goes deeper, sometimes we have drought, very deep drought in some parts of the world, but maybe in others don't. So the water won't disappear. It's always the same amount of water, okay? Maybe it can be dirty or whatever, but it's the same amount. So if our world is basically water, this means that every time that we can go to the water, we can connect more widely with the divine. So when we go to the ocean, to the seas, to the rivers, lakes, and whatever, we can connect even more with the divine. Okay, and if you say I can connect better in the highest mountains, well, the highest mountains is because once they were the bottom of the oceans, and the oceans basically were raised up by the tectonic plateaus, and they put these highest mountains to the sky, but it was the bottom of the ocean. So, for example, also the biggest deserts, the deserts of the Sahara, the driest desert of the world, the Atacama, also the deserts of North America, they were all under the water. And they had all the information of the ocean. So it doesn't matter where you go in the planet, it will have the information of the water. But even though everywhere we have the water, there are specific land spots where all the information of the divine in the cosmos are connected in specific spots in the middle of the oceans. And those places are the tiny islands that are volcanic islands, that they don't belong to any specific tectonic plateaus, but they were rising up in between the continents. In the blog, I wrote kind of a list of all the places where you can find this information of the cosmic memory in the water. Okay, so you can read the blog and there you will have it. So let's go to the alignment. I got tired of talking. The vibration for today is the code for today is the matrix. The larger the quantity of data, of books, of records, an infinite web that draws millions of programmings and probabilities of the universe is constituted. It's like the gestation place of all the ideas, of imagination, of all the designs and intentions, dreams, and for that is like a mother that gestates, a matrix, that in Latin, a uterus, that in Latin we know as matrix, uterus or tissues that generates life. La afirmación de hoy es yo soy el caminante de los cielos. The statement for today is I am the walker of skies. Skywalker. Bueno. So we sit comfortable, focusing in your breathing. I remember that my body is the summary of all the animal kingdom. So in my path of consciousness, I help all of them to find enlightenment. Take a deep breath. I observe the horizon, and I find myself watching its white and light blue colors. I find myself in between the middle distance of Middle East and Central America, in an oceanic place at the doors of Europe, in the Atlantis region, between Madeira and Azores. And turning towards the north, I recognize the path where all the memories go, where the purpose is heading to the North Pole. Take a deep breath and go towards the north, watching the seas, the frozen seas of the north. I see the great white island of Greenland, and besides it, the volcanic island of Iceland, the door to the Arctic Ocean. I feel the fresh water washing the coast of Norway, Russia, Alaska, and Canada. And in the center, the great sea of ice. I descend to the ice of the North Pole, becoming the ice, going down to the hills under the ocean, becoming the water below the ice, expanding myself from the ocean of the world axis, the memory of the purpose of life. And I bring this force to the world. I go down from this ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, through Iceland, Azores, Ascension Island in front of Brazil, St. Helena in front of Africa, Tristan da Cunha in front of Argentina, and I turn towards Africa, heading to the Indian Ocean. I find there the volcanic islands of the great Indian Ocean, Mauritius, Réunion, Maldives, Seychelles, Ile Amsterdam. And I go under Australia and Tasmania, New Zealand, reaching the greatest ocean of all, the Pacific Ocean. I go around the greatest ocean of Pacific, by Micronesia, Samoa, Hawaii, Easter Island, French Polynesia, Cook Islands, Marshall Islands, and I go down in between Patagonia and Antarctica, surrounded in the Drake Canal, going around the Antarctic Ocean, watching the Georges and Sandwich, Kerguelen Island, and reaching the farthest and loneliest seas from all the world, the Ross Sea. And from the Ross Sea, I go to the Ross Bay, just aside Antarctica, watching the white of all the most ancient waters of the planet. The ice of the continent touching the ice of the sea. The strength of the memory of water in me. And as I resound, I begin to be myself. The mist vaporizes the liquid of the oceans and the ice of the continents, expanding myself as clouds all around over each continent and each ocean, as gas floating all around the atmosphere before becoming rain. I am the walker of the skies. I am the walker of the sky. I am the walker of the skies. I am water. I am life. Take a deep breath, and softly with the tips of your fingers, we start to bring this information all over the body as raindrops all over the skin. And you come back here and now. Opening your eyes whenever you feel. Thank you everybody for being there. And as always, see you tomorrow at the same time. in the last day of Sagittarius, in the last day of 2020.